Hey there, Justin from U-Joint Off-Road in Colorado again. Got another big restoration, resto-mod type of job, for lack of a better word, going home. So this is our buddy Scott's 2006 Sportsmobile EB50. So it's a cool build. It's an original Sportsmobile build, four-wheel drive conversion and everything. And it's getting up in higher age, higher mileage, and it needed some work, and he wanted to replace all the suspension and get bigger tires on it and everything. So initially he contacted me about doing just like a full, U-joint four-wheel drive conversion. I told him really there's no reason to do that on these leaf sprung front Sportsmobiles. There's a lot of similarities between what they do and what we do. So what I did a while back is I actually developed a set of springs with Alcan to lift these things up 2 inches. So they're a little bit different of a spring. It's not exactly our same spring because their spring hangers and everything are a little bit different. But what we do is we lift it up 2 inches in the front, and then we shove the front axle forward 1 inch to allow for bigger tires, because Sportsmobile, they center that tire up in the wheel arch, so you can really only fit about a 33 on it. And then in the back, they just, I don't know why they do what they do, or what they did, but they just put a big old block underneath a stock leaf pack in the back of this thing and just hope for the best. So that's what's kind of odd about these older Sportsmobiles is, they spend a ton of money in some places, like a Atlas transfer case and a Dynatrac Pro Rock 60 front axle, but then they just put some cheap leaf springs on it. So we can get that fixed. So anyways, we were going up to 37s, so full re-gear and rebuild of the axles was in order. So we just went ahead and pulled the whole front rear axles off of this thing completely, had them sandblasted back down to bare metal. The other weird thing too is they run an open diff in this Pro Rock 60 front axle. So added a true track to the front, 488 gears, full rebuild, all new ball joints, new U-joints in the half shafts, all new steering joints, track bar, drag link, everything replaced. We got new sway bar links from Sportsmobile. Like I said, obviously the new springs there, all new brakes, all new bearings in the axles. And then the other big thing too is we got some rock sliders on it. So this is not something we typically do, but we may start because we've had so many people asking about it. So this is the first of 2 builds that we're coming out of the shop very soon here that are getting rock sliders. So these are custom mounted. These are actually Weldtech sliders, but their mounting system didn't work on this thing because Sportsmobiles have so much stuff down on the frame underneath here, propane tank and some sort of heat exchanger and all kinds of stuff. So we welded up our own brackets. They're not super strong, but they'll be good enough to not destroy your body if you lay the thing down on it. We had the whole thing lifted up by them and they were doing fine. And then we've also got our first set of custom valved AccuTune Fox 2.0s that we had these guys do up for us. This is something I think we'll start actually offering because they can tune anything that has a external reservoir on it, and they seem to have an easier time getting the Fox shock part numbers that we need. So it's actually really not that much more expensive than just the standard kit shock. So you might be seeing these as an upgrade on builds, scratch U-joint builds more often here. Let's see, what else have we got? The other major thing we did, these old Sportsmobiles, a lot of them came with a semi-float rear axle, which is not enough for these big heavy rigs. So we sourced a full float Dana 60 for the back of this one. He didn't want to go with a Sterling, but we found a full float Dana 60. So we did matching 488 gears. We did, of course, our favorite aux locker in the back. All new brakes, everything. 35 spline chromoly half shafts. And let's see, that's about it. And we also added our rear airbag kit in the back, and then of course we've got the matching AccuTune shocks. We also had to convert this Atlas transfer case to a different yoke at the back so we could run a CV off of the drive shaft since we were lifting it quite a bit more. We needed a CV drive shaft in the back. So you can see no blocks, all spring arch, how it's supposed to be. So the rear springs, even though we were lifting it 2 inches, the rear springs are actually a 4-inch lift spring, so we could delete the 2-inch block. Then we had to re-weld the shock tabs too, because Sportsmobile, what they do is from the factory, they actually cut the factory tab off and weld it up higher so they can run a stock length rear shock in the back, which seems crazy to me. But funny enough, this junkyard axle that I got for this thing actually also came out of a Sportsmobile, so it had the wrong shock tabs on it. So we had to weld some new ones on. Hiding down here on the other side. Got the onboard air mounted in an unconventional way on this one because we ran out of room underneath it. So we've got the tank mounted to the bottom of the frame there, the compressor mounted to the side of the frame. In the back, we managed to make a custom mount for this thing to be able to get at the 37 on the Aluminess bumper. They say it doesn't fit, but if you do a little finagling, it will. And then the other thing we got done too was we swapped it to the Method 701s. So this van's actually still 8 on 6.5. That's the way Sportsmobile does it. So we got some 8 on 6.5 Method 701s, and then we got a 37 1250 Toyo Open Country AT3 all the way around. So this thing wound up being actually a huge project, but we got it all sorted out. This rear OBA port, the bag shraders, but it's driving awesome, a lot better than it was. These AccuTune shocks are awesome, so I can't recommend those guys highly enough. But this thing's been a favorite to have around the shop. Gonna be sad to see it go. It's one hell of a rig. So if you got a Sportsmobile and you're looking to do something similar, get a hold of me here at the Colorado shop, Justin at ujoinoffroad.com. If you are looking for a 4-wheel drive conversion on your E-Series, we can also help. We can also help you in North Carolina. Email Chris there, Chris at ujoinoffroad.com. Thanks.